In your own way. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
liberty and justice for all. All right, this is the Gateway Board of School Directors regular board meeting Tuesday, September 20, 2022. Higher roll call, please. Ms. Isha.
Mr. Bova.
I am here.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Oh, she has left. She had something or other.
She's left the building.
She not be there for the meeting.
Right, exactly. I'm sorry. Exactly.
Mrs. Delaney.
She is here, but she stepped out for just a moment.
Mrs. McBride.
I'm here.
Ms. Mungo.
here.
Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Dr. Singh.
Here.
Mrs. Warning.
Here.
And Mr. Williams.
Here. Thank you. Do we have any comments from what happened?
We need to report whether we had an executive session.
What happened, John?
We had an executive session, Jack,
Thank you.
in the previous hour.
With the debt concern.
And talked about personnel matters, Jack.
Thank you, sir.
Litigation.
Thank you. We should put that on here. Okay, now we're going to move on to comments from residents on agenda items. Do we have any of those?
So I want to introduce, we have few colleagues. I used to be a library board member.
Well, we're going to get to the library in a moment, Dr. Singh. I think Ms. Boyes was standing up to comment on agenda items.
I thought,
It's fine.
Cheryl Boyce, Monroeville. I don't remember at the study session last week under employment anything about number E. So when we get to that tonight, can you explain that in depth? Dr. Kane, I met him. We had a lovely conversation when he was here the last time. We talked about the concept of respect, which I think is something we need to really focus on, which is lacking. But can you give us a little more, since there was no discussion last time, I'm assuming you're going to vote on it this time. Can you explain how this relates to Dr. Chakey, what all you're going to be doing, and the whole 9 yards, so we have a clear understanding of what's happening?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have a contract?
There is a contract, and just to be clear, we've discussed, not only have we discussed Dr. Kane in public a number of times, Dr. Kane has come to our meeting and discussed his background, and we talked about the details. We'll go over it again, absolutely.
Well, Jack, as I said, when he was here the last time I spoke to him, we had a very lovely conversation. But I think it's good to reiterate because it wasn't on the study
Absolutely.
session agenda. And one last thing, Dr. Short, and I'm going to be seeing you on Friday, 2 o'clock. So if there is an agreement and it's available to review, I appreciate a copy. But also, is there any new data on the testing of the kids for this last school year? I mean, everybody knows that the NAEP testing scores, which we didn't participate in correctly, are horrible for all the kids. So we have some new information that can give us a starting point as to how they all did after the time off from
Absolutely. I'll be announcing tonight our first superintendent roundtable, which will take place at University Park. During that time, not only will we be talking about the comprehensive plan at the building level, but also the individual scores for the buildings as well. So
Okay.
that will take place next Wednesday.
Okay, but that's parents, the roundtable. Is that correct? The superintendent's roundtable are
Yes.
the parents.
Yes.
That's not the public.
And we could post that information as well.
Okay, just so the public is aware of what that is, Joe. I'm just curious where we are.
And the
since
PA Future Ready Index has not been released yet.
Right,
So once that becomes public, that is typically when we do a comprehensive review.
from that information. So you're still waiting for that? Because this is all tied together, so I just was curious as a starting point where we're at with that.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comments from residents on agenda items? So, Dr. Singh, next on the agenda is Lucy Miller, but is there something you wanted to say before we got to the library discussion?
no.
Okay.
I need to.
All right. Okay, next we have Lucy Miller, a student liaison, update on Gateway High School activities.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Yep.
So I'm here to talk about some of the things that are happening in the high school this month and the coming months. So far, we are off to a great start this year. We're super excited to have like the normal back and having to be able to see our friends again. The first college fair that the counseling department is throwing is happening on October 12th. And this will allow students to access and explore options other than college, so different careers they could go into. Throughout the past couple of weeks, the guidance department has hosted college representatives to come and talk to our juniors and seniors about what they have to offer for us. These visits were continuing throughout the year, and they're also hosting trips to different colleges to where they can take juniors and seniors to go see the colleges. On October 25th, the PSAT will be taken by the 10th graders, and juniors can sign up and take it again. They just have to talk to their guidance counselor, Dr. Frass. The Spanish and elementary school program is coming back. That will be starting in the fall. This is taught by the Spanish 4 and 5 students. The students will go into 26 classrooms this year and teach a 6-week Spanish boot camp. This originally started in January of 2020 and was in 3 classrooms and has grown ever since. The SGA is bringing back the Homecoming Carnival. School, clubs, and sports have been asked to make booths that will run different foods, games, activities, and it will all go towards fundraising. The carnival will take place on October 6th, the Thursday before the dance, beginning with a pep rally at 5:30 on the football field. The band and cheerleaders will perform, and the homecoming court will be announced. The pep rally and carnival are free for everyone, but you can buy tickets at a booth, and that can go towards food and games. The homecoming queen will be voted on by the students the week before the dance and will be announced during halftime at the football game. The dance will take place October 8th in the old gym from 7 to 10, and the theme is Gatsby Gala. That is all I have to say. And I also have flyers for the carnival and for the dance if you want to see them.
Yeah.
Hand them to Dr. Rossi to your right there, and
Did you say October 8th was,
The dance.
and that's where at the high?
The old gym, the Aux gym.
Oh, okay.
Lucy, thank you for your report.
Yep.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Do you
nice
have
job.
any other friends that you could bring that could also give us reports on other things as well?
I probably can.
Drag them in, please.
I will.
Will you be coming at all our meetings?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lucy has to study for English, so I'm. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next we have from the Monroeville Public Library, Pam Bodziak. No, not even close, huh? Right? Very nice of you to make that face, but I missed it by a mile.
So I just want
If it was
to,
Benny Cooster, I'd have gotten that right.
Yep, Dr. Singh, go ahead.
so I was board member at the library for a number of years. And these are my colleagues. So Nicole is director, Alan, and Pam is Chuck. And so Pam is many, many talents, and one of them was she conducts a writing workshop. I've been to a few of them and it's very severe meetings in my writing. And so she is very good, very meticulous, and so I would love to hear from you what you said.
Thank you, Mandel, very much. I appreciate it. He was fantastic. He was fantastic in our writing group. Yes, thank you for having me. As has been said, I'm Pamela Bodziak. I am the Assistant Director of Public Services at Monroeville Library. I'm also the head of Teen Services. I bring my best from Benny Cooster, who is our newest teen librarian. He is under the weather this week. He was very excited to come and very apologetic that he couldn't make it, but he sends his best. And I'm here to take just a few minutes to tell you about the library's Teen After School program, which was something that began back in 2017, and we ran it every year until, of course, the 2020 shutdowns, and this is our first year back. So our library offers programs in general to try to meet the needs of our community We want to connect people to things they might not otherwise have access to resources, to opportunities, to community, really. And we wanted to do the same for our teens, which is how we came to design the Teen After School program. We've tried to make it a place where teens can come spend time in a structured and supervised environment. Although we also do stress it is the after-school program, it's not the more school program. We imagine that when teens hear about a library program, they might imagine something very formal, very classroom-like. It is supervised and there is a structure to it, but it's really with the intention of focusing on activities that we hope help teens decompress, de-stress, focus on creativity and social engagement. Especially important now because, as we know, there hasn't been a lot of time or opportunity for social engagement in the last 2 years. Just in the first few weeks that we've had the program back, we've seen kids coming in to engage, to play, to be able to be social again for the first time in a while. The program is free. When it was started a few years ago, it was originally only open to teens in grades 9 through 12. We're in convenient walking distance from the high school. Because the 7th and 8th graders are also now in that building for the year, we've taken advantage of it to kind of show them what we have to offer, and we've opened the program up to 7th and 8th grade for the first time. We've got all the library's resources on hand. We have computers, we have a maker lab, we have board games and yard games, craft supplies, all sorts of things. We had them do painting, make stop motion animation videos. They built a computer from scratch in our first year. They've done cooking programs, outdoor yard games, holiday parties, a whole lot more. We've had some guest speakers. The Humane Animal Wildlife Rescue League was, well, the owl that the Humane Wildlife Animal Rescue League brought was an enormous hit. The kids really dug that. So we're hoping to have more guest speakers this year, kind of focusing on STEM and the arts. The program overall is supervised by myself and by Benny Kuster, but for the day-to-day, we are fortunate that we've been able to partner with Keys AmeriCorps. Keys is a local chapter of the AmeriCorps service program whose members are trained to provide a year of service and work with children and teens. So that partnership allows us to have 2 full-time trained members on hand to run the program. We also have a social work intern. She starts tomorrow, as a matter of fact, for this year's session. She's coming in from Pitt. She's not there specifically to work with the Teen After School program, but she'll be part of the tool belt of the library to help plan activities and resources for the program. So that's been really fantastic. Of course, most excitingly of all, we do provide free snacks. That's been a constant of the program. Our last year when we did it, as I mentioned, we started to incorporate cooking skills, and we're excited to continue that. I know Make Your Own Pizza Day is coming up later this month. And the program runs Monday through Thursday, 2:30 to 6. We are so excited to be back. So thank you very much. And do you have any questions?
Well, thank you very much. Anyone have any questions for Ms. Bodziak? It says okay on here. Is it last?
It's a trick. It should be an A. It's not, but.
Okay. I hate getting people's names wrong. Any questions? So how do we get the word out to the school? Obviously, this is the first step. In the past, how have you reached out to the community, to the students?
A lot of it was word of mouth simply because we were located so close to the school. But I think with the shutdowns, and then we had a large construction program that closed down the main entrance, I think a lot of the teens got out of the habit of coming. So we have pushed it out on social media. It's on our website and newsletter. And we have had some success with word of mouth. But it's a gradual building process, building it back up. We have some flyers that we could send out.
Well, we'll talk to the folks who are good at doing this stuff here at our level and get the word out.
That would
Take
be
advantage
fantastic.
of this resource.
It's something we can put on our website, a link.
Okay?
And can we,
That would be fantastic. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to a presentation with Jesse and Jen concerning the development of MSMS Student Help Desk. I don't see them.
Job security for life.
In the wings, very nice.
I was gonna say that. Trying to read them. Oh, good.
Relax. Relax.
How's everyone doing? First of all, who's who?
So I'm Jeff Smiley. Jennifer, Szynski's behind me. We have some of our help desk kids. Want to introduce yourselves?
Emma Parrish.
Well, welcome. Nice of you to be here.
Thank you. So, you guys want to spread here?
Mr. Brown, you can come sit down. Okay.
All right, so we started a summer program this year. See if I can make that go away. Yes, no, well, that's my code, so I can't. We started a summer program this year. Around May, we started making some phone calls, see if we could do it. You know, what Bill would let us get away with, more or less. And surprisingly, we had about 7, 8 kids who were interested. The purpose of the program, we wanted to get the students involved with our side of things. Those students were able to help us do our summer stuff. There's a lot of iPads, and we'll show some numbers later, that come in and out of this district every year, every summer. So for our help, that's where they come to play. The biggest part of this, we've always wanted to start a student help desk during the school year. And I think for us, this was like kind of phase 1 of that. They mainly do tier 1 support on that side. Typically tier 1 is the basics, is it turned on, have you restarted it, that kind of stuff. You'd be surprised how many of those things come in through the student base at Mount Middle. And our goal is to kind of short circuit that so they can do it. And I don't know, leave me to do more important stuff, I guess. So we launched our Junior Gator Help Desk this summer. 9 weeks. Every Thursday we were 10 to 2, give or take. I gotta say, the students would help to prepare the iPads, both for the buyback with AGI that we did, as well as for redistribution to K and 1. During that time, we also talked to them about safety, broken iPads, so like the glass, the shards, how to deal with that, as well as with the batteries. Let's see, we were able to have these kids from 10 to 2, and also feed them in the middle. Luckily, a lot of local businesses were willing to feed a small group for us. That was really helpful. These are some of the companies we dealt with. Of course, on the left side, Apple, everybody knows Apple. Surprisingly, our sales rep was willing to also feed the kids. I'm sure they'll come back to us sales later on that road. You guys know that works. But nonetheless, a lot of local businesses. We eat at Penn Station like once a week, so it was really easy to put them on the hook to feed the kids otherwise. Some of the projects completed by the help desk, some about those numbers. They disassembled about 900 iPads. That's first grade, that's 4th and 8th coming back to us. They also provisioned iPads for kindergarten. That would be some of these guys going back out, as well as 2nd and 5th. 2nd and 5th were all brand new. So that would also involve like tagging the back with the student ID information. We also had the students inventory the Chromebooks coming in. Typically, we would pay an outside vendor for what they call white glove service, which would be the unboxing and all that stuff. Barry and Sean unboxed them, and then we let our kids go through the rest of it. Tagging, labeling for students, inventorying, and setting them up. They also assisted us with the iPad handout. There was 3 sessions. 3 sessions where we had parents come and pick up their students' iPads for 2nd, 5th, as well as the freshmen, the 9th graders. And our same students also helped with that process. On the table here is just some of those iPads. Like they would take them all apart, clean them. We actually had the kids run these cases through the dishwasher down there, Family Consumer Science. And there's like 6 dishwashers, so you can throw a ton of these in there. Yeah, this is more of our help desk.
I also learned how to use the dishwasher. So this is actually our help desk at work. So they actually were in our Gateway High School help desk room, going ahead and working during the summer. You'll see here they're going ahead and getting some Chromebooks ready. Here we're taking apart our iPads, getting them ready to go in the dishwasher. This one, oh, different shirt. So we must be reassembling. These are some of our handouts. Let's see here. And then probably some more sorting because we had so many iPads we had to take apart, clean, test to see if they were working, and get ready to, cycle through our iPads with the ones that's time that they're, no longer going to make another school year. So they were incredible, and they were definitely here more than 10 to 2, some more than others, but they were excited. They did the work really, really well. And I'm really, really proud of it. You'll also see AGI, they went ahead and paid for lunch, and they also paid for them to go to mini golf because they wanted to go ahead and kind of reward them a little bit. So it actually cost us nothing. They paid for lunch and for mini golf for the kids. So going forward, some of our goals as far as where we would like our help desk to go. Right now, our help desk students, there's 7 of them. Right now they are facilitating the help desk during school time. We have a first period, a 6th period, and a 7th period. Right now, Mr. Ulowitz is in charge of our first period, and Ms. Casaselli is in charge of our 6th and 7th period in the library. So there is an adult there in case they would need an adult, but they have a cart that they can roll from room to room as to wherever they are, and they're fully set up to go ahead and help students. They attend regular meetings with us. We had a meeting just Friday. We had them come up to the high school, and we went ahead and had a lunch and learn. They had some pizza, and we went ahead and we went over some new things that we're deploying. Micah was able to create us a kiosk that would give students access to create tickets without seeing any student information, and also a positive attendance box at Mosside Middle School. We are looking, per the principal at Mosside, Mike Jack, at expanding to 7th graders as of October. He's thrilled with how the program's going. He's really thrilled with the students, helping students. It helps the teachers when the students are in the room. These are the kids who I hear are getting asked more questions. But Mike is very, very happy with the program. We've heard from Mr. Ulowitz, who's really with them and knows the technology, how well that they're doing. So definitely this is going in a good direction, which is our goal for when they get to Gateway Middle School. So at Gateway Middle School, we hope to have a dedicated student help desk. And there would be a new class introduced for Junior Gator IT. It's going to cover some different topics. We want to work on ethics. It's a big responsibility for them to be able to go to a student's class and be able to return an iPad by themselves without knowing they're not going to goof off in the hall. So these kids have been through it all this summer. We know that they're trustworthy, and so that's something we have to make sure that with our kids going forward, we talk about ethics. And then hopefully go ahead and also introduce some management, some different information on presentations, and some more of our IT Tier 1 support. This way they could learn it as a class and participate in the help desk. Mike said there's a wonderful room at Gateway Middle that he would like to use for this.
Find it out.
You want to do the Gateway help desk?
So just to point out, we did start this with the high school last year. We've tried to do this a couple times now. 2019, we caught a couple kids who were really good, who knew technology. And then we get into 2020 and everybody knows how that works. But we really went through touch and go. We would get kids and just the way the schedule works. At halftime they were here, maybe not. This is really, I think the first year we're really going full on with the high school, with Mosside Middle. With the goal of Mosside Middle, of course, feeding the high school eventually.
I think you heard that from Lucy as far as it's nice being back into the standard flow of things.
It's very nice to look at a ticket now and know where the kid is. You know, like, are we calling your house, or are you, it's so much easier for us. We recently, for the high school, started a partnership with AGI Repair, that they're gonna start supplying our parts directly to the kids, but our kids do repairs. This is kind of a evolving thing. I put at the bottom that help desk does Act 158 credits. AGI never even heard of any of this stuff. So we're kind of trying to figure out how that's going to work for them as a business, and us, of course, is just trying to get it done. Next summer, we hope to keep this program going. We're hoping to add a little bit more kids, and also kind of create this cycle where, you know, the ones who've been doing it, Lucy actually is one of our kids at the high school. The ones who've been doing it will show the younger ones coming up how to do the Chromebook thing, and hopefully the ones who are leaving us will show the ones remaining more of that stuff. Emma, would you like to talk to them about what you do at Mossad Middle so far the last week or two?
So, we do a lot of different stuff with just helping kids and some teachers with their iPads. So a lot of times the kid will come down with either their screen protector is broken or their actual iPad screen is broken, or an application isn't working, something like that, and we can either help them if it's just, you know, replacing their screen protector, getting something from under the screen protector, whatever. If it's like the actual screen is cracked or something, we have to send it up to them because we can't repair the screen. But we can still get those kids and we can issue them a loaner device so that they can still do their schoolwork while we're waiting for their iPads to get fixed. Is there anything else,
iPads or lots of interesting iPad issues. I think kids sometimes get creative themselves, but they do quite a bit. They fix Wi-Fi, they push apps out, they help troubleshoot apps, they help log in. We're looking to pair, once the beginning of school hump is almost over, with going ahead and new students coming in, they would show them how to log into their iPad as well. But yeah, I mean, they are the first line of defense for everything at Mossad.
Wonderful. That's great.
Beautiful, wonderful idea. Whatever we can do to help expand it, you know, let us know. I'm sorry, Ms. Delaney.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say how you want to expand. So about how many kids do you really want to try to have?
I'd like to double next year.
About
like, what we have, 8?
You had 7 or 8 now.
7. So we had 9 counting my 2, right? I bring my imports in from Mount Pleasant.
Oh.
Mount Pleasant School District has nothing like this.
Oh.
So I bring them in to hang out with our crew. Probably, if we had 7, 9, maybe get 20 kids.
Okay.
Are there other school districts that do this?
There's other school districts that have their own spin on this. We went and we visited a school district. To me, their technology stuff's more like a cult than a support center. We're not trying to get into that. But this really is the future of this stuff. I don't think it's going to be possible for us to keep doing one-to-one as big as we want to go and not start bringing the kids into this. One of our ending goals would be like showing the kids learning new software, and then maybe showing teachers new software. Great, we're going to need Bill to probably push the whip on that one, because I don't know if anybody's going to hear that, but it could be good. There's a lot of things we could do.
It's amazing how COVID kind of forced the issue with a lot of our staff, students, you know, to transition into what you were just talking about. So we have to continue to move forward.
I have to know, what was the favorite lunch spot? What was the one you guys?
Dad's was good. Dad's public grub was good. Dad's was really nice. Dad's actually went ahead and sent us 3 free pizzas. And then we did go ahead when AGI came to visit, we went back to Dad's to kind of pay them back. So AGI purchased our lunch from there one day. So yeah, Dad's was very wonderful.
Yeah. Here's a question I'm going to ask, maybe if Mike goes on. I know we've talked about
a secretary, whatever, helping out in the tech department because of all the calls that you get. Is there any way that we could tie our students into something like this, or?
The problem we run into with that route is that student personal information. So the kiosk Micah created does not show any of that personal information. So it would have to be somebody we could trust to have access to Skyward to be able to make phone calls about bills, to reset Skyward passwords. We're talking a level that we probably don't want to cross that line. But to be honest, there's enough to do with all of the devices we have. Which is another reason why a lot of times we like our kids to keep their devices during the summer, because it's a lot of devices. If we were to get them all back, Jess and I couldn't handle it. I mean, or we would be here 24 hours a day.
And plus, we're always looking to do stuff. Like Mosul's our vendor for controlling iPads. Speaking with my sales guy, to our knowledge, we're the first people to start letting kids go in there and help with the MDM side of things. Pushing apps, pulling apps, that kind of stuff. We've made sure to limit the amount of information they have on other kids, because data's important. But just as a tool, like, we're gonna find more stuff to feed them. So hopefully we have more time to make those calls if we have to.
You have no idea how many iPads they put in lost mode and go help kids find every day. That is the major thing that happens at Moss Eye. I would say probably 10 or 12 every day at least. And I wish I could make up that number, but I'm not. Like, you can ask our poor teachers. It's a forever thing. Yeah, it happens all the time. I want to say that there were 2 or 3 down there just first period. Yeah, they don't look for it. They go, can't you just ping it? So yeah, it's definitely something where this tool gives them the ability to locate it and to make it make noise and stuff like that.
It's great. Thank you.
Good work.
Great job.
Jesse, students, thank you.
Thank you.
Doing a great job.
You don't want to hang around for this.
Not to eat now?
You can.
No, I'm going home.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on to the board member discussion items, Dr. Rossi has a real quick presentation about some Oveus data. So Micah, are you able to pull up the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Thank you.
Go to the next slide, Micah. Just going to provide information on our bullying prevention initiative. It's really, you can go to the next slide again, Micah. It's really part of a coordinated effort to align our program for our students. So, although we're talking about bullying prevention tonight, it's really part of the social, emotional, trauma informed and our positive behaviors supports that we already have in place at the school. So it's really one piece of the component. Next, Micah. The survey was administered in the spring of 2022, and we'll plan on doing another survey in the spring of 2023. The questionnaire really just provides us with some information on the perceptions of our students around bullying. So after the students took the survey, we reviewed the results with staff, and really just plan an implementation. So we're looking at prevalence, the forms of bullying, where does the bullying happen? You'll hear us talk about the hot spots in a moment. Duration and how things. Next, Micah. Hazleton Publishing publishes Oveus, and we do get this for our principals and for our teachers. They just want us to keep some things in mind about the questionnaire, so we have 2 slides devoted to that just to keep the information in mind as you go. This was self-reported and anonymous, and it was optional, so we didn't force kids to take it. Provided information to parents. They suggested you overinterpret the meaning of the results. Our school, once they have the data, and they do have the data, will look for regularities, patterns, some unexpected results that we might come across. Hotspots.
Dr. Rossi, could you speak into your mic? I'm getting reports from the audience. You're hard to hear. Sorry.
Next slide, Micah. Again, just this comes right from Hazleton about the cautions, and so they don't want us to draw too many strong conclusions. And that's part of what we're going to approve tonight, hopefully, is that Oveus certified coach is going to help the principals with this, with the core team. Next mic up. So here are the number of students who completed the survey. Again, this was optional and anonymous. And when you see the elementary, that would be only grades 3 and 4. We didn't go any lower than grade 3. And at the high school, our focus was freshmen. So we have mostly all freshmen and some 11th graders. Next mic up. One of the questions was really the heart of it is how often have you been bullied in the past couple of months? And they use those terms, they want finite terms like couple of months. So this would be back in May, keep in mind. And so the options were I have not been bullied all the way down to several times a week. Now, if you just keep in mind that there's the number there and then the percent. So this doesn't represent the entire high school. It represented around 14 or 400 students of the high school. It didn't represent the entire elementary because it was only grades 3 and 4. So just keep that in mind as you see the numbers. So going across, the numbers that I have not been bullied were anywhere from 62% to 83% at the high school. And then what our certified trainer will help us with are those bottom 3 there, anywhere between 2 or 3 times per week through several times a week, really trying to get at that number and that percent and really draft a plan around how can we support those students. Next slide, Mike, up. This question was ways of being bullied for students who reported being bullied 2 to 3 times per week or more. So that bottom tier there, those 3 at the bottom on the previous slide. And so at the school level there, you can see the most prevalent one was verbal bullying. For elementary, the second one was exclusion and rumors. Middle school, you could see verbal rumors and exclusion. And high school, verbal rumors and exclusion. So again, good information for our core teams to kind of develop some things around verbal. That's where that social emotional learning piece can come in as well. Next mic up. The hot spots, wasn't surprising for the elementary. It's the playground and the lunchroom. A little less, not less supervision, but it's more spread out and kids are more away from adults, maybe in the playground and the lunchroom. At the middle school, it was the hallways, stairwell, and the lunchroom. And the high school was a classroom in the lunchroom. Now, Hazelton did address some of the, you might be surprised at this classroom, but that could be a substitute teacher. You know, those are questions. It could be a substitute teacher situation. It could be a student perceiving a study hall as a classroom. So there's some things, again, they're going back and having good discussions at the high school around this.
Physical education.
Absolutely, yep. So those types of things that you have to just keep in mind, a student could be perceiving it, that way, that location. So obviously, elementary, got to do some work around the playground and lunchroom, supervision management, those types of things, and at the high school as well. In the middle school, the hallways and stairwells, again, just increasing the supervision and visibility of adults in the building, and so being more strategic about where we're placing adults. Next slide, Micah. Next step, so moving forward, really that training is going to be very helpful with that certified Olveus trainer. There'll be a 2-day training and then some coaching sessions. So they'll provide a 2-day training, let the core teams go back and work, and then come back for some ongoing coaching, which will be very beneficial. They'll continue to look at the survey results, and that's what they do. The results we get are there's a lot of information, and so they'll go deeper into the survey results that you saw with the principal and the core team to really identify some spots. We're always continuing to review and refine our school-wide bullying efforts. And again, in May 2023, we'll plan on administering the questionnaire. We'll use this as a baseline, and hopefully we'll see some improvements for next year. Next mic up. Again, so for the classroom, part of the Olveus program is we'll introduce the anti-bullying rules. They'll have a kickoff. They should have a kickoff session. All the rules should be posted or will be posted. At elementary level, it's a little easier at the elementary level to introduce class meetings, so it's kind of in the morning meeting. They'll have to get a little more creative at the high school, so maybe it's during activity period or something like that, where they can talk a little bit more about even the survey results and what that might look like at the buildings. Also, part of the training is the intervention, the intervening, how to teach adults to appropriately intervene and students in some cases. Next mic up. Any questions or concerns?
So is there a way that we can reward a group or a class which does not experience bullying for a month or a period of time, and they give them some free pizzas or something?
This was anonymous, so we don't know who submitted the.
You know, okay, but there are bullying reports, real life, right?
There could be reports, yes.
Yeah, there can be reports, and so the one which, like a class or a school or something, come out clean for 1 month, no report, then we should post a little reward for that.
Well, actually, that part of that first slide I had, that's part of the positive behavior support. So each building should have like school-wide goals, and part of that are some rewards. So that piece is kind of embedded into that positive behavior support piece. So yes, they do that.
Okay, thank you.
We could real quick, Micah, go to the next slide. Cell phone survey, Mr. Brown?
So for the cell phone survey, you can see on the screen how the respondents broken down between the high school, middle school, and elementary school. Roughly, it's a little under half of the district. And this is a count of students whose parents responded. So it's by student. So the first two questions are very much related. Does your child have a smartphone or a smartwatch? And do you allow your child to bring it to the school? So as you can see in the results, roughly every student who has a cell phone is allowed to bring it to school. So it pretty much indicates that if the parent is buying a phone for their child, they're going to want to use it in school. And now this is broken down by elementary, middle, and high. And you can see the elementary, the majority of the people responded do not have cell phones, but as you get to the middle school and high school, more of them have cell phones. Then we asked if they would prefer the cell phones to be unavailable during the day, or if they want the cell phones to be controlled by the teacher, or the teacher can give the students permission to use them or not. So as you can see, the majority of respondents said that they do not want to make the cell phones unavailable, so they want to make sure that the student has the cell phones through the day. But they are in favor of the teacher controlling when they can use the cell phones in the class. And you can see how it breaks down between high school, middle school, and elementary, but it's a pretty even distribution. When we asked why they let their child use a cell phone, these were the responses. I have it broken down in two different ways. One way it shows overall percentages, and another way just shows absolute numbers, because a parent can say they only want it being used for emergencies and nothing else, or they can use a combination. But the most common scenarios are for emergencies and communication with the parent and guardian. And that's roughly all the data. Is there any specific questions about the survey or the results?
Okay, thank you, Micah. Could we go to the next slide, please? As I mentioned earlier, Superintendent Roundtable, University Park Elementary, building level comprehensive plan. Included within this would be some data related to school performance, PSSA, and this would be September 28th at 6 p.m. at the University Park all-purpose room.
Will it be Zoomed as well?
We haven't had that conversation yet. It was going to be in person, but I'll see what I can do. Okay?
The other schools are listed on the next slide, Micah.
Yeah, we have some other dates as well for the upcoming roundtable discussions. Evergreen, Cleveland Stewart, and Ramsey Elementary. T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that.
Those short tour of schools. Collector's items. Fundraiser, I like this.
Posted on the website as well.
2023 school year with the school and the date.
Yeah. With the concert tour here.
Yeah.
Very good.
Can we get a space on the front of it?
I like this idea.
Very nice. I like it. Okay, moving right along.
Board member discussion items. Anyone have anything that they would like to share?
So we have a member of the press with us. I'm sorry, what's your first name again? Haley, would you like to take one of these tours around and see some of the facilities here and just listen to Dr. Short as he presents, you know, the history of the... We had a 50th year anniversary about 2-3 weeks ago, and I can't tell you how wonderful of a job. What a brilliant presentation. And Dr. Short gives this all the time. And so if you would like to bring some of your colleagues and, you know, just bring them on, just have them be introduced to the school, I think it would be terrific. And then the parents could get to meet you as well. So please.
We had a wonderful phone conversation at the middle school.
Feel free.
So, yes, thank you, Mr.
Anybody else have anything this evening?
Mr. Williams, are we doing anything more that we discussed about the personnel board?
Well, we talked about,
Bring a photographer. Okay. Did I interrupt?
No, not at all. I mean, like one person was talking and then another, and then you blurted something, but I don't think you interrupted at all, John.
I think the big question was whether or not school board members should be able to rate individuals that are applying for sitting in on interviews. And we had that discussion briefly in executive, and we decided that's not executive material, and we wish to bring it out here in the public. And I think at the time, Dr. Short asked Mr. Dice that, and Mr. Dice, if you could reply to that in public, be much appreciated.
Well, I think if you complicate the process of hiring and start writing things down and making notes, those things are going to be discoverable possibly if there's some litigation involved. If you feel that you have to do something like that, can you keep it to yourself? And when the process is over, my advice to you is destroy it so it doesn't exist anymore. But I just don't think it's a practice that I see many boards, whether it be a school board or a borough council or an authority or whatever, you know, they don't get into scoring applicants. It can just, it creates the issue for litigation.
How's you going too?
So you're talking specifically about board members being involved in
That's what I assume.
scoring. We want, it was brought up that and a couple of board members participate in the interview process and scoring of the applicant for the job description.
Well, just to be clear, when this subject was first broached, the discussion was about a committee of board members who would observe interviews, and then all board members would have access to resumes that were sent in for each and every job. I'm sorry, not each and every job. That still was to be worked out. Which
Administrative positions.
which
and the
positions
athletic
we were
director.
going to be part of the observation process. So now this is kind of morphed into something that seems a bit more participatory. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that the word?
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but, you know, that's why you have your staff, the superintendent and his people. They're the ones that generally will come away with the list and then pare the list down, and then he's going to make a recommendation at some point. I don't have a problem with people participating.
Not to interrupt, but the way this conversation started was, as everyone I think knows, we're the ones who vote ultimately on who's getting hired.
That's correct.
Quite often, by the time we get to that part of the process, administration says, here's a name, this is who I think you should
Yeah,
vote
this is who
for.
we vetted.
And we vote for, and then our votes are on that person. And it just seems to be almost, we're a stamp, we're a rubber stamp. And what we're saying, and there are other school districts, we've talked to other school districts, where the board is, at the very least, observing these interviews, at the very least, to offer to their colleagues, to the rest of the board members that, that person seemed like it, or occasionally it's like, I don't know what they're seeing or not seeing here. So what we're going to try to do very quickly is find a happy medium between us being active participants and us simply rubber stamping recommendations so that we're all invested and participating in a way that doesn't in any way compromise the district. And the next step is who wants to be on this thing? So you all are going to have to tell me individually if you want to be on this panel or this committee.
So we are or you are making this committee or?
I am making this committee, yes. I think that's one of the few things the president can do.
Really have an interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, no,
Well,
that's,
and-
and I think that the participatory part should be.
No, right, it can't be a quorum, of course.
All right, would you care? I mean, I don't want you sitting, you look like that you're left out.
See, I'm trying to go over in my mind exactly what Jack just said. He really framed it quite well. So when,
I love this.
let's say a school district finds itself in a bit of a quandary, and then they have to decide whether they want to pour hundreds of millions of dollars into tearing the buildings down and making new stuff or fixing up the old stuff. So half the board members say, you know, I like the traditional approach. Half the board members say, I like the innovation approach. So we're about to hire some candidates. So if we get only one person stepping forward, how's me as a board member supposed to know this is the guy that's going to move things forward and tear things down and make things all brand new, or versus the other side, this is the guy that's going to keep things in the traditional mode, which is what I think our citizens want. So when we get offered one and only one approach, it's hard on the board members to know what's the pool we're picking from. So that's the beauty of this sort of a board that can step by and say, what's the temperament of the board? What's the temperament of the community? What are we looking for? How can we best move forward? And then bring both sides of that equation to the board so that we can better weigh out, do we want to hire person A or person B? Why or why not? In other words, and that helps give direction back to our school board our school administration, so that the school board and the administration and the community can be working together. So that's the beauty of this. Now, Jack said on the other side, and Bruce said on the other side, things can easily go wrong. And so we don't want that to happen either. So that's the tension that very well could occur if Jack successfully sets up this committee and it starts to meander through its business. So we'll just have to see what its goals are and how well it carries out those goals, and then maybe evaluate 3 months, 6 months, 9 months from now to see if it's accomplishing its goal and helping us or not, right?
Well, absolutely, and that said, we don't hire all that frequently, so, I mean, we're not going to be doing this weekly or monthly, but.
So only comment I have, in addition to everything else said very well, that say we will have 5 positions in a given year. If you choose 2 people representing, 3 people representing, it should be on a rotating basis. It shouldn't be the same people going over and over and over again, because we all 9 are equal at this point. So it is just don't fixate on certain individuals who are better in picking, hiring.
Okay, yeah, that's fine too.
So you're saying rotate?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I
basically,
understand.
everyone would get a shot at this committee if they had the time and the ability to do it, of course.
So if it's a 3-member committee, about every 3 months, drop one and rotate a new school board member. So it's
For
always
every
fluid.
position,
Well,
for every position,
John,
there should be a new.
I'm just hoping we're not going to have this much turnover. I mean,
I agree.
this is, Mike, you lucked out.
Eventually we will have,
We're going to hire somebody sooner or later. We've got a couple positions to fill right now, so.
Position need to be filled, and it will come. It's not that, I can't see, I mean, that one position will fill in my term, 3 years remaining. It's not like that.
So I feel it's important to establish those ground rules going in as to who's doing the recommendation here. Am I hearing this correctly, that the 3 board members would then recommend a candidate?
No.
No.
No, you're not hearing that correctly at all. No, what the 3 board members are going to do, well, we're still fleshing this out, but what the 3 board members are going to do, I believe, is they're going to observe the interview process.
Okay.
They're going to not necessarily record anything that could in any way be problematic later, but informally
I'm the trash picking, y'all, I'm the trash.
chat with their colleagues about what they saw, the feeling they got, because, we'd all like these hires to be some formulaic, data-driven thing, but as we well know, rarely does hiring work that way. Typically, the candidates are similarly qualified to some extent. There's a certain
Sense.
process or say, this person seems like the fit or not. So we're still going to get the recommendation from administration,
Okay.
just as we always have. Ideally, that recommendation will jibe nicely with what the board has also observed, so everyone's confident going forward that, when we say aye to this particular person.
But it would be more than one recommendation, I would assume. Yeah, that we wouldn't just have.
Well, there's going to be an ongoing process.
And that's where perhaps we need to sit down with our current HR person to explain to the board how in fact we rank the candidates, we score the candidates. So when we're finished and those scores are tabulated and provided to our HR director, at that point, a recommendation is brought forward. So if we're not recommending the highest qualified candidate based on our interviews, how does that impact what we're doing?
I think that this is more for communication, like Jack said, you guys come back with us, you scored, you've done all that, and come back to us with one name, and we say yes or no based on that. I guess we just want to be
Yeah,
part.
Susan was saying bring back a couple names.
Well, at least.
Yeah, 2 or 3,
This is what I'm saying, I think Jack's saying, instead of us doing it that way, 3 of us, whichever 3 are available, would sit in there and see how they're scoring, and then come back and say, okay, you know what, there was these 3 candidates, this is how they all scored, bringing back.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have changed much if we just bring back your top 1 or 2, but we still don't know anything about.
So I just want to be clear that if an individual is recommended based off of the scores from the interviews, and the committee of the board feels that this person is not the individual that should be brought forward, does that put us in potential litigation?
Before you answer that,
I'm just.
before you answer, this is actually very useful just to begin with. We're, I assume, all learning that this isn't some arbitrary process. You've got a scoring method.
Absolutely.
Some of us.
By the administration.
No, of course, yeah. No, that's the thing I'm talking about, which certainly I wasn't aware of, and I don't know what that process is. I don't know how you score it. I don't know how you weigh various things or weight various things. So part of this process will be us learning that. As the board members kind of witness what's going on, at the end of that, the board members, I assume, will at least chat with you at some point about, okay, how'd that look to you, or how'd that go?
That's what should happen.
So you have a little chat. I'm not in any way, I don't think Scotty was in any way saying, the board members, we're going to be doing the hiring here. We're not telling you, pick that one right there. What we want to do is understand the process, and so that when we're voting on someone, again, it's more than us showing up on a Tuesday and saying, yeah, here it is.
And that's where I was just referring back to Mrs. Delaney saying she wanted 2 names or 3 names. And then if it's going to be a choice at that point in time, there's still.
Well, my expectation is we're going to start with a pool of names, and then you're going to interview how many? 4, 5, 3, 6, whatever.
Depending upon a position, I mean, there may be 10, 15 interviews for, say, a teaching position. We go through maybe 4 rounds.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing teachers.
We're just going to be administrators.
Okay, see, and I haven't heard that.
And I think.
That has not been relayed to me.
Yeah, we're saying it now, right?
Okay.
We're saying it.
Okay, I wasn't even aware of, yeah.
Administrators, athletic director, and, the committee doesn't need to ask questions. I think the whole school board would like to see resumes and have access to Google Docs, because over the past months, we've known people that have applied for positions and never gotten phone calls or anything else, and we're just saying, what's going on here, da-da-da. And I know it's hard to find people, and we have Trish coming in here as a part-time basis. We wanted to get the things moving along we don't want the tail to wag the dog because we're representing the people of Monroeville and Pitcairn here, and we want the best people in here, and we know some good people have applied. And over the years, I've sat in on interviews and that, and I've seen some of the way things are done. I was an observer, and I had to get the okay from the solicitor to be able to sit on because the superintendent at the time didn't want anybody. And at that time, I'm not saying this about you, Dr. Short, but we had a rash of hires from a specific school. And we're like, what is going on here? So we sat in on it and found out that, let's just say, an assistant superintendent that was involved with this was putting heat on some other administrators at the time. So need to be, we stopped that. And I'm not saying that's done here, it's just with COVID, everything going on, talking to my colleagues around, even when I go to Forbes, I get copies of resumes, who's applying, what's applying, because we're the ultimate vote here. We see a name come in front of us, we don't know if it's male, female, anything, it's a name, and we vote on it, and I just think that, not all boards, but I think at this time and age with everything going on in this world, that, I think we have some school board members here that have enough time to put in extra time and do the best thing, and they want to sit in and see how the process works, and hopefully, support everything that the administrative does and go through it, that's all.
And thank you for clarifying that, because we were under the impression that this was going to take place for teachers,
I thought
paras.
Scotty was pretty clear about administration. And Scotty, that was a long speech, so I just want to add, you just mentioned sort of parenthetically, male or female. We obviously don't care if it's male or female. We don't need to know if it's male or female. I know that just came out of this, so would like to strike that from the record, please.
Strike that from the record?
Years of experience, past experience, where they're coming from, that sort of information.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up, President.
Do you know other districts off the top that actually are participating, so to speak, in, not in the process of the hiring, but just participating in terms of?
Mrs. Cerrucci's not here. She had mentioned two boards that they're escaping me now. She's connected to tons and tons of other board members like me. So she's actually mentioned two. I don't want to guess.
Okay, that are engaged in.
Yeah, part of the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else? Any other board member stuff? Nope. Okay, just one quick thing I have. A resident asked me about the order in which we do things, because we do comments from residents on agenda items, then we do this thing, then we do comments from residents on non-agenda items, and she seemed to think that was, I don't know, poorly ordered or restrictive, and she and I emailed a couple times. I made it clear that I don't believe this board's ever kept a resident from commenting on something that was of interest to them. Robert's Rules of Order sort of dictate how we do these things, and we try to kind of keep everyone's time in mind, but we'll tweak this. If this doesn't work well, we'll move things around, but I think this is working okay, and I think everyone gets a chance to speak in the audience who comes, and occasionally some of us, me, gets grumpy and cuts people short, so I'm sorry, Ms. Boyce, but I won't do it again.
I know.
And
I'm gonna get like my granddaughter said, you're in the corner.
for sure.
I'll bring a rubber giant to do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, thank you. All righty, so we're ready to move on now.
Section 8, minutes of previous meetings.
Come on, hear a motion, let's go. Let's approve.
John seconds.
Approve the, Mr. Williams' motion to approve the minutes, second by Mr. Ritter. And those are August 9, the study sessions, policy committee, athletic committee meeting, buildings and grounds, regular board meeting. Any questions on that?
Yes, this is Joe. I sent a note to Bonnie. There was a correction on one of the minutes, just a typo, and I had her correct that, so it's no big deal at all.
Thank you.
So
Any
that's the
other
study session
questions?
tonight.
Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, you ready?
Yes, section B, financial reports.
Section B, financial reports. Section B1, list of bills, September 2022. Section B1 listed bill September 2022 added after the study session. Section B2 financial statements August 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Williams, seconded by Ms. Mungo. Any questions on that? Let's just do all in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? There you go. All righty, let's move it along. Dr. Short.
Section D, personnel agenda, Mrs. Crump.
Thank you, Dr. Short. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors accepts and approves the personnel agenda items 1 through 5 as listed in Section D. Under resignations, we have a total of 7. There were 2 added after the study session. Under Section 2, transfers per the collective bargaining agreement, there are 12 listings. Section 3, for employment, we're recommending 9 event workers, 2 additional cyber facilitators, a substitute custodian, a substitute food service. Under Section E, we're asking for approval of the consulting contract with Dr. Anthony Kane, Junior ED for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Services, and we're also asking for the approval of the appointment of Mike Zarelius to perform the duties of business managers for a 4-year term. Under supplementals, we have 7 listed. We also have following resignations, I apologize. 19 supplemental issuances. Under volunteers, we have 10 independent volunteers and 1 volunteer coach.
So moved.
Second.
That motion has been made by Mr. Williams, seconded by Ms. Mungo. Do I have any questions on any of those?
Yes. On the esports supplemental, I would like to table that for further discussion on salary.
Is there a second?
Second.
So that motion to table was made by Ms. Warning and seconded by Mr. Williams. Do we have any questions on the motion to table?
It's just a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, right, yes, yes.
One item.
I'm sorry, what item was that, please?
The esports supplemental.
4, it's number 4, it's the last item.
Last item on number 4, approve the addition of the esports supplemental at that current rate. We're looking to table that at this point for further conversation.
The motion was by Val and second by,
Scotty, Mr. Williams.
Okay, let's have a vote on that, Bonnie.
on the table. Mrs. Delaney,
Aye.
Mrs. McBride,
Aye.
Ms. Mungo,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Dr. Singh,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
and Mr. Bova.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Any other questions?
I have a question on underemployment under 3E for the authorization to approve the contract with Dr. Kane. Is it employment or contract? Because it's just a contract for the school year. We are not giving any benefits, or it's not an actual school
This is a consultant.
It's a
contract.
consultant contract.
Independent contractor.
Yeah, it was just underemployment. I was just, okay.
So we're allowed to say the amount, correct?
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
So we are offering, and Dr. Kane has agreed to a fee of $4,000, the purpose of which is to review our DEI program, conduct conversations with our directors, our personnel, our committee, go through data to basically assess how we've done, take a look at both how we've done and how we've done it, and ultimately to make recommendations. One of the reasons Dr. Kane was, I thought, a wonderful person for this is Dr. Kane does not have interest in employment with us. So Dr. Kane is not going to consult, is not going to observe with an end game in mind to basically create a position for himself. If he believes Gateway would be served by a full-time equities director, for example, he's going to reach his conclusion based on the data and then explain that to us. If he thinks some other strategy would work, he's going to present that. But again, he has no ulterior motive, in a sense, to say, of course, I love full-time directors and you ought to hire me. So that's another reason I thought he was an excellent choice. So
And this is for a year, correct?
it is for 1 year, yes.
School year, yeah.
Correct.
Any other questions? Have a roll call, please, Ms. Isha.
Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Mrs. McBride.
Aye.
Ms. Longo.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye on everything except 2J. That's a relative of mine, so I abstain on 2J.
Dr.
And I vote nay on 3E. 3E, nay.
Dr. Singh.
Yeah, yes.
Mrs. Warning.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Bova.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. What else we got? Conferences?
Section F, administrative report. Go to secondary education facility agreements. Dr. Chaky.
For item number 1, we have 3 facility agreements as listed. Item number 2, affiliation agreement with Slippery Rock University. Item number 3, Olveus Training and Consultation Agreement. Item number 4, district booster clubs and support organizations for the following: Cleveland Stewart Elementary PTO and University Park Elementary PTO. Item number 5, approve Ray Andrikanic as Gateway School Police Assistant Supervisor at an hourly rate of $28. Approve an increase in the Gateway School Police Supervisor's hourly rate from $32 to $34, and approve an increase in the Gateway School Police Assistant Supervisor's hourly rate from $28 to $30. Item 6, PDE Innovative Teacher Initiative through a partnership with Indiana University of Pennsylvania. And item number 7, approve the Vista Higher Learning Software Package for use with world language courses.
Item number 8, approve of Avena Healthcare Services Provider Agreement as depicted in Exhibit H.
Item 9, approve the change orders Gateway Middle School renovation project construction fund for the 2022-2023 fiscal year as listed below. The total net change orders have come to $6,452.28. Note, the 5 change orders above in this project for the Gateway Middle School renovation project is now $2,123,909.51. Item 10, school bus drivers and bus monitors for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item 11, engagement letter required for arbitrage compliance services with Arbitrage Compliance Specialists Incorporated for the series of the 2021 general obligation bonds. Item 12, bid for the paving project at University Park and Ramsey Elementary School. Funds coming from the fund balance general fund for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Item 13, installation of baseball and softball scoreboards at Gateway High School baseball softball fields by OES Scoreboards. Price per purchasing co-op NCPA contract 08-17 scoreboards and electric signage. Funds coming from the fund balance general fund for the 2022-2023 fiscal year as detailed below. And you got option A, $88,400, option B, $99,794, and option C, $118,145.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Williams, seconded by Ms. Mungo. All right, let's begin with the questions. Who's first?
I just want to clarify, these scoreboards that we're talking about, this total is for 2 scoreboards. One's baseball and one's softball. So it's not that you're looking at $88,000 for one scoreboard.
I believe that to be correct.
I'm just clarifying that.
And what is,
2 separate scoreboards.
Yes.
Correct.
and what is the recommendation from admin and the AD?
Mr. Hall?
Option A, option B, or option C?
Mr. Hall on the call?
He's not on the call.
Yes,
Yes, he is on a call.
yes, I'm here.
Do you have a recommendation, Mr. Hall?
Well, obviously, I'm very excited about option C. It's a little more expensive, but we're talking about, potentially recouping some in advertising, also subtracting some, which again, would be true of any option, with the ones we won't buy for the middle school when we move them from the current site. But the mantra throughout this project has been, let's do it exactly right and pay homage to our baseball history and future. We're going to have a beautiful new facility in so many regards. I would love to do a scoreboard that reflects that in both baseball and softball. So my recommendation was, is for C.
And what are the benefits of C over B as far as ad paneling? Is there more availability for ads on option C than there is B?
Not necessarily. You do have the you do have some room for it on both sides horizontally and potentially on the bottom below the scoreboard. But it's more aesthetics. It's more on par with what we did in the football stadium. And again, I think it's what we're hoping to have.
Okay, thank you.
I actually like option B. I think option C is a little over the top, and option A is a little under, and option B seemed to be a good fit after we saw the pictures and representation of them. That's my feeling. If anybody agrees with me, I'm option B. Robin, I think you're option B.
Do we have the pictures of the scoreboards by chance?
I believe we did have those last week, and I think Micah is currently pulling those up.
You can just remind us, please, Micah.
Here we go. Sure.
OES is doing these.
Right there is A. That might be B. Or C.
That's
B, and then C.
That's B.
That's B.
That's B?
Yeah, that's right,
That's
you're
B.
right, yes.
Oh.
B, and then the arch is C, yes.
I could certainly live with B.
Yeah, Micah, can you go back to B for a sec?
Micah, can you do your special thing and put B and C together on one page?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, well, I tried.
Is that good?
Wait a minute, let's watch this. He's good.
My snipping tool. I hate that.
Mr. Hall, are these two boards similarly sized, B and C?
Length and height.
They are. They're both core of the scoreboard without anything above or below or on either side with ad panels. They're both 25 feet by 7 feet.
That's A and B, Micah. If you could pull the other option C.
I don't know how much more you need to see, Leslie or Val, but.
I just wanted to see.
You want to see if Michael can do it?
Yeah, really, I'm testing Micah's
I just want to make sure
They look
they
similar.
all have the,
That's B and B.
That's B and B. Just go to the YouTube and just go to C, and that'll be fine. Micah, thank you.
There it is.
There we go, perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect.
B and C.
All right, Mr. Hall, I appreciate your thoughts, but I'm going to have to go along with Mr. Williams here. I don't see a dramatic difference in the two. In fact, I kind of like the one on the right a little more myself, so I'm okay with that. But we need a couple more folks to go along so we can move this along.
It shows the balls, the strikes, the outs, and it'll be.
All three of those are the same core, it's just what's on top.
Okay.
And what's
Yeah,
that difference in price, do you remember?
23,000, 24,000.
From one to the other?
Right, from A
Yeah,
to C.
12,000 a board.
So it sounds as if the board, at this point, the recommended option would be B.
I agree.
For the record, Bonnie, and then we will be voting on option B out of the three.
Okay.
And I had one more question from someone in the community asked me, why are we paving these two schools? We had talked ultimately, of course, about paving everything. Just a reminder of why we selected these two first.
Mr. Brown, you need to
They
go.
were the worst. There you go. That's simple. That's what I said, but I thought maybe I missed something. Maybe it was alphabetical, but they were simply the worst. Okay.
Correct.
You don't need to go, Mr. Brown, for that. Any other questions on these? Nope. Roll call, please, Bonnie.
Mrs. McBride,
I, and that is on scoreboard B,
All right.
like boy.
Ms. Mungo,
Ditto I, scoreboard B, option B.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Dr. Singh,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
and Mrs. Delaney.
Aye.
Okay.
All righty. Done with that section. Do we have any resolutions presented by board members? I don't think so, right? Okay, now we're to comments from residents on non-agenda items. Anything? All eyes turn to you.
Last man standing.
All righty, let's move on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Bova. A couple of notes. Next Tuesday, I believe, is the 27th, September 27th. We will be having a buildings and grounds meeting at 6 p.m. to discuss information about our current project at Gateway Middle School. I know Mike O'Brown has done some aerial photography once again. And I would like to provide information to the viewing public on the progress taking place at Gateway Middle School. 6 p.m. here in the boardroom. Also, Micah, if you have a chance to pull up the recent Gateway Athletic Hall of Fame website, Mr. Petroselli and Mr. Shane Rowland, through his company, have been able to provide our district and community and alumni with an updated website that lists all the recipients of the Hall of Fame awards. And if you have an opportunity, please go to this site, take a look at it. It's listed by name and alphabetical and years, and the individuals who have been, and teams who have been inducted. So a special shout out to both Mr. Petroselli and Mr. Rowland for the work in providing all of our Gator alumni with this information, and you'll find it very informative and very interesting to read.
Is that website, the Gateway Sports Hall of Fame?
Have the link? Yeah, gshof.com.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
That was going to bring us up to see.
Yeah, there you go.
Mr. Petroselli started this back in, I think, 99, because he just loves Gateway and everything else, and noticed other schools around the area had Hall of Fames except us. And with the help of his wife, Marcy, they would plan the events and, and move them to country clubs and stuff, and it sort of got too hard because it was like planning a wedding, so they decided to do it every other year. And if you go on this site, you can get lost in there for hours with old pictures and bios and everything else. And it's well done and well received. And hats off to Mr. Petroselli and also Shane, who has done a website. Fantastic job, easy to get around. So if you have some time, it's GSHOF, GatewaySportsHallOfFame.com.
Also, start of the school year, everything went very smooth. Very orderly. A number of our programs have been implemented and put into place. Currently, we're always looking to improve and innovate, but I am happy with the start of the school year, and I think the board is as well. So that's all I have.
Thanks, sir. Okay, board committee reports. Let's start over. Scotty, you already, no, Ms. Mungo, nothing. Scotty, you already did your Hall of Fame. Got anything else for us tonight, sir?
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, you, Bob. Bob, brought to my attention with the topsoil. Why are we shipping the topsoil out to Route 819?
We are taking anybody that wants topsoil, that can haul it with their trucks that we loaded, that we have 8,000 yards to get rid of.
We were going to stockpile it down on the library field, and why are we ripping up the library field?
We have to bring the fill dirt that comes from the baseball, softball complex has to go there in order, you can't put asphalt on top of topsoil. That all has to go. It is going to numerous places. Pitcairn, Monroeville, Urin has a project in North Versailles. So anywhere we can actually have it hauled away for free is a benefit to the district.
Are we paying to have it hauled away, or are we paying people to haul it away, or are we?
And we are not selling it.
Are we getting anything out of it?
Neither of those. We are fortunate to be able to have it hauled away. There are other districts that are paying in the neighborhood of $150 per truck to haul it off the sites. We have so much changing from grass to turf. We have all of that product that we just absolutely have no use for.
Now, is there anybody else that is in the community that if they would like some?
If they call me, we're there every day that's not raining. We don't want to track up the roads or the district. That's what we didn't haul anything yesterday due to the weather. But if they call us and have the vehicle that, we've accommodated. So all they have to do is reach out to me. I'll let them know what hours we're there. If the weather looks bad, we put a, hold on it.
And also, this is from me, up at the sports complex in the back, there's handicap spots that aren't marked, and all the signs are ripped down, fell down, ran over, whatever. But if you drive by King's or even down at Scozio Shop and Save down there, they have like a tripod where you can put the sign on, where you can move it, but just something back there.
Well, I'll certainly look at that, because once that project is finished, that area of the parking lot, that's, anybody that's been back there, that's parking lot's gonna need to be redone. So we really haven't done much for that, just this project kind of started, then was on hold, and so we're getting that done now.
That's
so
just
that is
temporary signs, yeah.
But I can put temporary signs and repaint those markers just so people can see them.
Right, exactly.
That's something that's not a terrible thing to do.
Appreciate it. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Singh, Dr. Singh, where are you?
Nothing this time.
Nothing? Mr. Ritter?
Thanks, Bob. While you're still here, was the lighting in the pool, that hanging lighting, was that successfully repaired?
It is, for now, what we've done was secured what's there. We researched the engineer's repair, which costs more than all brand new lights. So we looked into all brand new lights. Those lights are 25 years old. The structure is 25 years old. What they gave us, I don't know, Mr. Bowe and I, he looked at it with me, was not very satisfied with the results that we got, but looked into new light fixtures, and it actually cost us less to purchase all brand new fixtures than the material cost to do a repair.
Wow.
Yeah, I was, and, you know, again, they're 25 years old, so no matter what we do, doesn't mean that they won't fail, you know, next week.
So again, yeah, right, okay.
So we cut the purchase order. We were able to take advantage of Duquesne Light. They give a point of sale rebate on that. So our total cost for the light fixtures was around $7,000.
Clever, thank you, Bob.
We work with Scott Electric, the manufacturers. They're actually produced in Altoona. So we're not at the mercy of something coming across the ocean. I thought that was a major benefit because those supply chains can really drag out. So they're on order, and I'm to see them in 4 to 6 weeks.
Very good. Okay, thanks. And the other thing, Jack, I'm going down to Baltimore on Thursday to work on the SHIFT projects, SHIFT, School Health Innovation Framework, Leveraging Technology. This is a long-term project I've been working on through HL7, Health Level 7s, an international standards development organization, helping to lead the project. Dr. Short and I have been, trying to find ways to put an umbrella protection not only on our schools, but all schools in the United States by taking a look at the innovative stuff that's out there and trying to find ways to collect all the stakeholders, all the use cases, put them together in a document so that the reader can understand how best, school board members can understand how best to move their school districts forward based on their current needs with respect to health information and technology and healthcare services. So I'm leading that project, going down to Baltimore, which is really near Washington, D.C., hoping to hit a home run and get a lot more steam behind this project. So that's where I am.
John, I should already know this, but what's paying for your trip? You paying for that?
Yeah.
So, and you're doing this for the school district, yes? This isn't like for John Ritter?
I'm doing it for all school district, all school members around, all school kids around the world. It's an international approach.
So I don't know, is this the right time to be like discussing, like why aren't we paying for this? Or am I missing something?
A large corporation should, like GE or Siemens or Intel or the United States government or the ONC or CMS.
Okay.
This is the scope that the World Health Organization, PAHO, other organizations who have a national, international, statewide scope as to how to help move school districts forward.
I understand, yeah.
They should be investing in this. And they do in other ways. That is, they do send some of their employees or provide grants to HL7 and other standards development organizations. But you're asking, does it filter down to me? No. No.
Mr. Ritter and I have had this conversation for years now. And
healthcare, telehealth, telemedicine, oral present. There are so COVID. You've heard of COVID.
I think I did hear that.
Many aspects. Bullying, that's an issue. Suicide prevention, social determinants of health. All of those are multi-layered questions, and people have made advancements in some of those areas. But it's not all collected together in a single document. This is about an 80-page document. It lists about 30 of the stakeholders. School board members are one stakeholder with some concerns. And so we try to package all those in so that the reader, whether it's a legislator, a vendor, a nation, a government, can read it and say, I had no idea that these were the concerns of school bus drivers, that they needed to know whether Sally had a EpiPen in her backpack, and that's a health-related item, and should bus drivers be allowed to know that? Yes or no, how and why, what are the rules? So you have to put all that down in order for everybody to be able to do their job in a manner that protects the student's health and brings to bear the quickest way possible the most effective means of providing an umbrella protection for students. Standards are just one small component of that. Healthcare information standards are just one small component of that. So this is a big lift, and it's going to take multiple years, and that's okay.
Well, and it's my turn for board reports. We'll talk about this further. Anything else, Mr. Ritter?
Good.
Ms. Delaney.
Yeah, what I have to say is more community related, and we we've got a high compliment today from one of my stylists who's in New Ken. And she says she's trying to get her money together so that she can come to send her kids. She has 3 kids. She wants them in the Gateway School District because she thinks so highly of it. And she wants to buy a house here. So that's something in the making. Her name is Lindsley Lash, if you want to go and support her so she can get back, she can get in our district. But that was, I thought that was just such a high compliment. She thinks so highly of the Gateway School District, even though she's in New Canaan and had gone there herself.
Great to hear.
A couple of other things that I thought were community related. This is the Hispanic Heritage Month. It's from September 15th to October 15th. So that is a celebration that many people may not know about, but it's something, if you go online, you can always find activities and things for the family, the kids to do in that respect. And also, one of our graduates from 2005, I know his first name is Mike, he is one of the organizers for the annual powwow, which I'm going to go to this weekend. Saturday and Sunday is the annual powwow, and a lot of people didn't know we had an annual powwow. But he was a graduate from Gateway from 2005, so that's going to be exciting to attend and see. And just in terms of a little African American history, on this, not on this day, but on September 18th, Ben Carson, who is well known as Dr. Carson, who helped separate the set of twins, the surgeries, the conjoined twins, he was born on September 18th, 51. And so was Jimi Hendrix. Well, that's another story. Most people don't know Jimi Hendrix. But no, but also just in terms of history again, the First Negro Convention of Free Men agreed to boycott slavery-produced products or goods. Then that was on September 20th in 1830. But other than that, that's all I got.
Thank you, ma'am.
My turn?
Yes, ma'am.
Something Mrs. Delaney forgot, she always says. Tomorrow at 5:30, they will be having the International Day of Peace over at 6:30?
We have to be there at 5:30.
Okay. 6:30 at Monroeville Community Park West. We will have several of our students up there that will be helping us out, bringing lots of people together, just hoping to try to get everybody on the same page of peace. On that note, I was in on the PSBA weekly update today, the Buzz, and the topic was the social emotional health of our students. And I was surprised because the numbers keep changing, and they said 1 out of 4 students contemplate suicide. So I, as a parent, I'm asking all our parents, everyone, talk to your kids, give them that extra hug. Their time is very valuable, and everything they say means something, so listen to them. Mrs. Isha, are you still on?
I guess I am.
What is our bus drivers, our need? Do we still have a big need for those?
We absolutely do, yes. They are constantly trying to hire good candidates and get them through the process. They are in the process right now of getting some drivers, but they don't always help. Yes.
Reason why I'm bringing that up is I was at one of our sporting events last week, and I was talking to a couple of bus drivers, and they are doubling and tripling up on their runs. So anybody out there in TV land, contact STA Garage. Is that where they go, Mrs. Isha?
That's correct, STA, down here in Monroeville, down near Haymaker Village. They can contact them or call our office for their number.
We've added information on our website as well.
Okay, I just, they look drained, and I thank them to make, for getting our kids to and from school every day, and our athletes and everyone else. So thank you for all your help. Thank you to our tech department, Jess and Jen, for wonderful presentation that you did tonight. Our kids are good. we need to start getting them more involved like they are, and I think it's great, so. And with that, that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Warning. Ms. McBride.
I can't top these two, I'm out.
She was at Elton John.
Well, you gotta know your limitations.
That's right.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
All I have is I'd like to acknowledge our new business manager officially, Mike Zarelius. I've mispronounced every name tonight.
That's perfect.
Well, really? But I got the mic wrong.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Well, welcome aboard. We're busy working to find your assistant, right? We gotta,
that's next.
gotta find an assistant for you, but welcome aboard. Did a great job tonight. And I think with that, all I need is someone to do that adjourning thing.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.